now the world is gripped by fear, real, imagined, and maybe exaggerated too, of the coronavirus that has is claimed to have originated in China, Wuhan, in Wuhan city. It is so threatening that it could bring down the world economy, in fact, to a screeching halt. And I know that there are always two sides to everything that occurs on this surface world. The first is what we see with our eyes, with our physical eyes, and what is behind the curtain. So, Duane, how does this corona pandemic look like from the real side of life?
Well, again, it's just something created in creation, like we had Ebola and all these other things, the bubonic plague and whatever else there is. In other words, these are created things to control others, to create fear. Just like 9/11 and just destroying the buildings, it was all for fear. It was a terrorist act, not by terrorists, by individuals that control the human farming here. And again, it's all about control and putting fear into people because they see what is being presented with the new presentation and real guides on the real side, and they are adamantly disrupting this world. You look at Australia and all the fires. All of a sudden, the whole place is on fire. And what they're really saying is, look, we can do whatever we want, and if we can't have it, neither can you. So I'm not here wanting the world, cannot save the world. There's no such thing, this savior idea, etc. But the Ebola thing or the new plague that's been created is just another thing to scare people. And yeah, it's very real, just like the chemtrails. And yeah, they'll kill you, just like Roundup Ready with Monsanto. Yeah, it's all poison. It's all created to destroy people. And so the challenge is, what are you going to do about it? Yeah, so you can, and for the most part, see, they want people to run to the authorities that have created this, and that's why they set up the FEMA camps. So eventually, they will create more disasters. It's coming because they're not stopping. This is all they do is create disasters and get people herded to where they'll be willing to go into the FEMA camps, just like what Hitler did in the concentration camps. It was a trick he did to where he didn't give people showers for months or years or whatever, and then he said, okay, everybody's going to get a shower now. You're going to get a nice warm shower, and so everybody's excited because you can have 10,000 prisoners in a camp and they can break out. Some of them are going to die, but you only got maybe 100 guards because the rest are out there fighting the war or whatever, disrupting things. And so what you do is you get them, how do you get them to agree to volunteer themselves to walk right in? Well, what they walked into was not showers, it was gas chambers. See, so you give them the idea, the marketing ploy. So yeah, these things are very real. They affect me too and whatever. And so this is where you constantly, become more aware to deal with it because there's no rest here because of how the world is, because of how aware people are becoming also. They're seeing what's going on in their own way. And the cabal and the elites, the monarchy, they know this. So they constantly have to do things to offset this because they're afraid. They are more afraid than the people that they drive fear into. They're afraid that they will lose their position. That's why they rebel. They're actually the real rebellion against people that have supported them, unawarely supported them to where they are. But now they're afraid to lose what they have, so they're in rebellion against those people that you really might say that are innocent with everything. For the most part, most people just want to live their life and get on with it, don't want to be disrupted. But see, they're also at the same time becoming more aware, and what we're presenting and others are, etc. So they've created a rebellion, and this is one of the things they've done, just like, throwing poison gas out there, bombs and whatever on people. They're going to keep it up because as people become more aware, they're losing their control. And that really bothers them. Yes, they're very afraid too, more afraid. So it's an interesting scenario. So when you create fear, you're going to be part of that fear, not just throwing it on others, but you're going to be part of that. Now it's coming back on them, and they're afraid, so they're rebelling. It's all there right in front of everybody, but you got to figure it out, and you got to decide to take on the challenge. Or what do? Run to the authorities, run to the church and get down on your knees and pray to the gods that are destroying you? You decide. I know, it's a big mess, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is, Duane. Okay, Duane, there's this question about the mind. We all seem to be suffering from some form of repressed memories and experiences because of the protective nature of the sensor. The sensor causes dream experiences that could be upsetting to be scrambled and stored in the subconscious mind. Now, there are those who do what we call regression therapy, where someone can be regressed back to a time to the distant past to confront his fears or his creations and all the like, in order to be able to deal with them in the present. So that is the sole aim of regression therapy. And some people think that it actually improves their awareness. So do you think that this mechanical act of regression therapy can be an aid in becoming more aware of ourselves and of life as a whole? Duane.
Yes, I know what regression therapy is. It's a term, and actually, it's not really regression. Okay, so you're not regressing when you're doing it. What you're actually doing is referring to a particular area. It's kind of like your house, and on the real side it represents the personal self, and then you have the attic, the basement if you have one, the backyard, the front yard, whatever. And basically the attic and the basement, and especially the backyard, refer to your subconscious. It's in back of your house, which is your personal self, your mind, your feelings, etc. That house represents your created consciousness. And so when you're in the backyard, you're getting an objective view, just like you would walk in your backyard and look at your house. And instead of being inside of it, you have a view inside the house. So you have a view inside your personal self right now. But now you have a chance to be objective. This is where the real side is, where you become aware. You have a chance to be objective. That's the first setup scenes. You're in these scenes where you're objective of that personal self. Now, you don't have to do that. After a while, you don't have to do that. You just simply recognize it. But each person decides, yes, everything can be a benefit if you can figure it out how it is realistically a benefit. But for the most part, when people do these things, they really want to find out more so about their personal self, don't they? Which they really already know, but having someone else tells them makes them feel good. And so again, if it's past lives or whatever, you were this or that, or you did this, or you had this marriage, or this person that you're with now was your son or your brother, or you were married to them before and it didn't work out, or whatever it is. Okay, it's all these scenarios, just like what we see on Netflix or TV or in the movies. It's all these scenarios that we go through. And so you can watch it as entertainment, you can watch it as drama, you can watch it as a documentary, you can put it in any mode you want. It's how you see it and figure it out. So yes, at times we all need therapy. I've gone through it myself, not with psychologists or whatever. When I went through what I went through, I went to psychics just to get objective viewpoints to stabilize my personal self with what I was going through, because it was horrendous, and to just get that focus back with that and stabilize that. It's kind of like a car where at a certain speed the front tires wobble because they're out of balance. It starts wobbling, so you take it to the tire guy and he balances the tires so it's a smooth ride. But my intent never changed. And this is again what people don't see. They just refer to this consciousness idea. And again, this is where I've separated the two, your real awareness and consciousness. There's a difference, but most people think it's all the same thing, but it's not. But regression therapy, yeah, yes and no. It just depends upon the individual and how they see it. But again, most people will do things and go through things just to satisfy the personal self. And that can be okay, but lots of times they just stop there and it's like, okay, I'm healed, I took Tylenol, I don't have a headache anymore. Oh, life is good. Now I can go play with my friends and we can have a barbecue, we can go watch the football game and eat hamburgers and hot dogs. It's fine. Yeah, until I need an antacid again. Okay, so again, you decide how you're going to see it and how you're going to learn. And just like going through school, you take the classes, you decide how you're going to see it, you decide what your goal is going to be, what your purpose in life is, if you even have one. Just because a person goes to school and wants a career or a business or a job, that's not a purpose at all. That's just working for the system. That's all that is. That's what a career is. Yeah. It's not what people think. So regression therapy is not what people think either. It's something, but it's far from everything. And it's a reference to the different parts of yourself that you've agreed to. So this becomes very simple, really. And that is that, just simply learn to face yourself and everything. And then what I do is replace it with the challenge of something that makes sense with what's taking place right now in the world, to take my attention off of the personal self for the most part. See, we've been taught to just basically, it's all about the personal self and you're to be concerned and you're an individual and you're unique and you're the artist, you're this or that. Well, that's fine. That's fine. And then you just grow old and forget you were here. Really, that's all you do. But when you see the bigger picture and take on certain challenges and take the time to recognize the whole of life and put it first, then you eventually free yourself and you don't need any of this funny stuff anymore. But in the meantime, it's really about facing yourself. And so people go to therapists and whatever, and it's really about facing that. But they want to hear good stories. And I get it. I went through it. And I did, but no more. And now it's just, I don't even concern myself with it. If I need a reference, I'll create it or I'll use one. But, it's more fun to be aware and take on the challenge of becoming more aware, because that's what life is. The isness, like the sun shining, is all about becoming more aware, self-sufficient, and it's all about real survival. In creation, and especially on Earth, there's no survival here. It's all struggling. All you do is struggle and maintain things that you wanted or have or whatever. And all you do is constant maintenance. And it's constant struggling until you grow old and so tired, you're tired of it, another lifetime, and you just collapse. You fall in that hole they've dug for you in the ground, and then eventually you pop up again, in some future lifetime. But you got to wait in the long line too on the real side, and that line is around Saturn. It's worse than waiting in the line at the post office. It's a long line because there's less bodies coming in, etc. And things are more poisoned. You really want to come back to her? Your choice. But again, regression therapy is simply a reference to something that you already know, so you can decide how you want to face it. Yeah. So that's one view.